All right, hi everyone. I hope you can all hear me. My name is Zoe Simpson. So current BAS and bookkeeping clients might know my voice pretty well. But for those of you who don't know me, I've been working at Camtech and Slater for just over 3 years now. I get to work with all of our business clients and make sure all GST and BAS lodgements are up to date. So I love working here and I've had a lot of opportunity to grow and learn, especially about cloud accounting, which is what we're talking about today. So this workshop is aimed at new businesses that currently aren't running any accounting software, as well as existing businesses who are yet to make the leap into the cloud, and also just for people who want a bit of a refresher on their Xero training. So today's webinar is a really general overview of Xero. We do offer individual training as well, so these lessons which are actually tailored to your individual business. So don't stress if there's something in this webinar that doesn't 100% make sense. We can always go over it again. We're here to help, so just give us a call and I'll be more than happy to explain in detail anything that you might not have understood. And also, if we get positive feedback on this webinar, then we're going to host some more. So if there's any topics in particular that you would like us to cover, please let me know. So moving to a cloud-based software, it's one of the best things you can do for your business. It will save you precious time, which means you can focus on the parts of your business that you love, and it means you're going to be earning more income because you're spending less time doing the accounting work on the books. So today I'm going to be giving you a live demo, which will cover 4 topics. The first is invoicing, then payroll, then reconciling, and then we're going to have a look at HubDoc. So I myself am a very visual learner. I need to be able to see things to understand them. So I've created this demo account called the Slater Building Company. Very, very creative of me. And we'll be using this company to learn all of the basics in Xero. So feel free to ask any questions. There's a question box at the bottom of your screen and we'll try to get to all of them. So firstly, we have the dashboard in Xero. It is the first thing you see when you log into Xero. We can see Slater Building Co.'s bank accounts. They have a business account and a savings account. And we can see if there's any invoices owed to them. We can see any bills to pay as well. So we can see there's not much activity in here at the moment. And that's just because we don't have any invoices yet. So once the account has a bit more activity, then we'll be able to get a great overview of what invoices are owed. So let's start by creating one. So invoicing in Xero is very powerful. You can create invoices and quotes in no time at all. So let's start off by creating a new invoice. We'll put in who the invoice is to. So this one's to Kate Slater. And you can see that Xero has remembered Kate's data because she has been a customer before. So we're not going to have to enter in her address or email address again. So we're saving time there. Next, we're going to put the date the invoice was raised. So this was a couple of months ago. We've just haven't had time to create the invoice yet. And then the due date, we're going to give her a bit of time and make it the 5th of March. You can see the invoice automatically pre-fills an invoice number as well. So what's this invoice for? Let's say that the Slater Building Co. has just renovated Kate's kitchen. So we're going to split this invoice into 2 parts, both labour and material. So we can actually save items in Xero, such as labour, and this item will automatically pre-fill all of the information. So we only have to put the number, the quantity in, which is the number of hours, and it does everything else for you. So if this were a company that sold goods, we could save all of the items here, so there is no need for any unnecessary data entry, which can be a real waste of time. And now we will add in the materials for the job. Always remember, put quantity 1 and the amount. Now we can see the total invoice is $3,400. So once we're happy with this, we can click approve. And now this invoice is in Xero. So a lot of people want to know, what do my invoices actually look like? So we can see this invoice from the customer's point of view. We can see it has all of the information. It has our beautiful logo here. And we can see the due date. It's actually 40 days overdue. So naughty Kate has forgot to pay her bill. We can get out of that one. So that is a really good idea of what your customers will be seeing. It's how your business is being presented through invoice. And then the next thing we're going to do is email this invoice to Kate. So in Xero, you can just send through an email to kate@camtechslater.com. It has the subject line, it has a pre-filled email for you, so you don't need to spend any time writing this information out. And you can include the PDF, and then we'll send that off. So Kate's going to receive an email with the invoice and the due date and a link to pay. A great thing about Xero is it also sends out automatic invoice reminders. So that means if it's 2 weeks till the invoice due date, Xero will send out a reminder to pay. It will send out a reminder a week before and 2 days before. And it will also send out reminders after the invoice is due, just letting the customer know, hey, this hasn't been paid yet. It might have been forgotten about, which is really handy because a lot of the time people may raise an invoice, send it off and then forget about it. And then 2 months later, there's an outstanding invoice on their account. So that's a really good part of Xero, is automatic invoice reminders. Saves you time and it makes sure you get paid as well. So now if we look down to receive payment, we can enter the payment of the invoice. So it's been a couple of weeks. Kate has now paid her invoice. We can pop in the amount she paid. Just a note, this doesn't have to be the full amount of the invoice. If your customers want to pay you off in installments, you can put a smaller amount in here. And that way you can really keep track of how much your customers owe you. So let's put in here, she paid the whole amount, and that was actually paid on the 5th of March. And then in here, we just need to put which bank account it was to. So she paid it into the business account. And now that is all done, we can send a receipt to Kate. So she has proof that she's paid. And it's as easy as that. That is your invoicing. It is not going to take you much time at all. So now we've looked at invoicing, we can also have a look at quotes, which is something that a lot of businesses send out. So you can see here we have created a quote for Zoe Simpson. A bit sorry about the lack of creativity on the names here. We'll jump into her quote. So she just had a new deck built and the total cost was $1,500. You can see we've already split out the labour and materials. Now Zoe's had some time to think about this quote, and she's actually come back to us and said, hey, that's a great price, I'm going to accept that. So instead of having to create an entire new invoice, what we can do is options, mark as accepted, and then create invoice. So we're going to click that one. And instead of going through the same process that we did with Kate and creating a whole new invoice, we can see that it is already here. Information is already filled out. If there's any changes, we can pop that in, and we can also pop in a due date. So let's give 1 week, and we can approve that one as well. So now we're going to mark this one as paid as well. And to the business bank, because we know she paid to the business bank account, and add payment. And that is invoicing in Xero. It's so easy. We can send receipt to Zoe as well. And that's that. So that is invoicing in Xero. It should only take you not very long each week. You're sending out invoices, nice and easy. So now we're going to have a look at payroll in Xero. So if we jump in to payroll, so paying employees in Xero is so easy, whether you pay your wages weekly, fortnightly or monthly. So at Slater Building Co, there is one employee, Dylan, who is paid every week on a Tuesday night. So all we need to do is add a pay run for the week ending the 14th of April, that's today. And we can see Dylan here. If there was more than one employee, they'd all be listed here. And we can jump in and we can start adding the information. So this week we had a couple of public holidays, which we can see Xero has picked up for us. So Dylan usually works Monday to Friday, no weekends, so we can exit out of all of these public holidays. And now we just have Friday and Monday, which are dates that he normally would have worked. We can see we have his rate pre-filled in here of $26. All we need to do is put in the total hours he worked for the week, plus the public holidays he's going to get paid since he's a full-time employee. and Xero will do all of the calculating for you. It tells you how much gross, it tells you how much you need to put aside for your tax and how much you need to put aside for super. And it also tells you what leave has accrued for Dylan. So there is no need for you to stress at all in regards to how much leave this employee has, because Xero will accrue leave from the very first hour that Dylan works. Once that's all done, we can see a quick summary up here. So we know $810 is the net pay. This is how much we need to transfer into Dylan's bank account. And then we need to put aside $178 in tax, $93 in super. So once that's all done, we click save. And if we scroll down the bottom here, you can add in an individual message for Dylan. So it could be, thanks for a great week, you did a really good job, or if there's some kind of information you want to pass on, you can pop that in. So, hope you had so just something personalised if you wanted to pop that in. And then if we close that one, this gives you an overview of all of the employees in the pay run. So if there was 2 or 3, you would be able to see their individualised amounts. And then up here, this is the total for the week. And then you can see we're paying Dylan tonight. It'll go into his bank account tomorrow on the 15th. Now we've had a look at that. We're happy. We're going to post this pay run. And that just finalises everything in Xero. Once we've done that, we have an option to email Dylan his payslip. So, which is really handy. It means your employees always have their payslips on file. You don't have to print them out and hand them to them. You can just send them to an email. And that way, if employees ever come after you saying, hey, I need some payslips, I'm going for a house loan, you can say, look in your emails, you have all of them there, which is really nice and handy. But if in the event that they have lost them, then you still can have them on file as well. Another thing we can look at is the payslips. So if we download Dylan's payslip, you can see it has our beautiful logo. It has all of the information for his ordinary hours for this pay and also the year to date. Dylan can also see how many hours of annual leave he has in total and then how much is going into his bank account. And you can see our little message down the bottom here too. There are other reports you can look at as well that help you determine how much you need to pay into the bank accounts and how other reports that you might want to save onto your computer for later. So if we have a look at this pay run activity details, it's a nice little report. You can see it just has all of that information in the pay run summarised into a quick half page there. And that's it. So if you had 1 or 2 employees, you can see that paying them in Xero is that easy. There's no need to stress and spend hours trying to figure out how much tax you need to put aside, going through those disgusting ATO tax tables that are about 10 pages long. Because if you tell Xero, Dylan has earned $988 this week, then it tells you this is how much you tax, this is how much you super. There's no calculations required on your end. And Xero is also single touch payroll compliant. So what happens if this wasn't a trial account, there would be another little button down here called file, and we could just send off this pay run to the ATO. So there's no extra work involved there. You just need to click about 3 times and that is done. So you can see it's so easy to make sure you're staying compliant with Xero and making sure your employees are receiving the right amount of pay. All right, now let's look at reconciling our accounts. So this is the bookkeeping. This is where all of the bookkeeping magic happens. So obviously, if you don't do your own bookkeeping, this may not apply to you. However, it is a really good idea to have a good grasp on how things are happening in Xero, just so you know if you ever did need to do your own reconciling, then you have this little bit of prior knowledge there, and it's a good idea to just have a little idea of how things work. So if we jump in to reconcile, this page here is a list of everything that has happened on your bank accounts. So this business bank account in Xero, it is actually connected to the ANZ bank account, and you can connect any bank, so if you're with CBA, NAB, ANZ, Bendigo Bank, ING, all of those accounts can be linked to Xero. And you can see everything in here, all this on the right side is money coming into the account, and everything on the left is money spent out of the account. So you can see the first one, we have a payment from Zoe Simpson for her invoice number 1. You can see this one looks a bit different to the rest. That's because Xero actually identifies that there is an invoice that Zoe Simpson has paid. It was for $1,500 and it was paid on the same day. So it's just recognizing that there's a match. So to reconcile this one, all you need to do is click OK. And now that transaction is completely captured in Xero. So now the next one is an expense. So it was an amount that we paid to Bunnings. The great thing about Xero is you can really choose how much detail you go into when you are reconciling your accounts and doing the bookkeeping. So what I'm going to show you now is a really simple way, but it can be improved and expanded on by using things such as HubDoc, which we're going to talk about later, and also Xero files and Xero expenses. So all we need to do to reconcile this transaction is who it is to. We know it's Bunnings. And what? So this is where we need to categorize the expense in Xero. So the category we choose here will actually be the same account that the expense will be listed under on the profit and loss or balance sheet. So in this one, it is a payment for materials that we use to help us build the deck. So we've got materials used is an account in Xero. So the great thing about chart of accounts is it can really be customized to your business, because obviously Slater Building Co is going to have a completely different chart of accounts to a hairdresser or a bakery or a butcher. So we can customize that. Then the next we have a Y. So you can pop something in there. It's not completely necessary, but we'll put in materials, employees. Just so when you do look back on this transaction, you have a bit of an idea of what's going on. And then the GST, we know that there was GST on all of this, so we click OK. And now that has been captured by Xero. So this next transaction is a bank transfer. So we're transferring an amount to our savings account. So it could be a little bit of GST from the invoice. It might be a bit of withholding tax. So this one's a little bit different to reconcile. All you need to do is click transfer and select the savings account and OK. And now that one's captured in Xero as well. So now we're going to quickly reconcile the rest of the account. So the next payment is to Reese. It was for more materials. And we're not going to put in a Y this time, we just click OK. The next one is a wages payment. So if we just pop in here, wages, the account, if we start typing in wages, we can pop that in and OK. The next one is the invoice that Kate paid. It's already pre-filled, so we can click OK here. And the last one we have, total tools. And it's that easy to reconcile your bank account. So if you're jumping in maybe every day or every week, that's going to only take 5 minutes to reconcile, and you're going to be on top of things, which means when it comes to doing your taxes and your BAS, you can just hand over your Xero account to us, your accountant, and we're going to go through, read all of the information, and it's all there. We don't need to go back to you and say, hey, what was this for? We don't need to spend hours doing your bookkeeping for you, because it's already done in there, which is going to save you money in the long run. So now if we switch bank accounts, you can see we've got the savings account here. The first one is the bank transfer that we reconciled before. So you can see it's recognizing that there is a bank transfer from another account. So we just need to click OK. And then there's a little bit of interest income here. And that's reconciled. So that is all of your bank accounts completely reconciled. As I said, it's so easy. You just need to spend a couple of minutes every week or every day in there getting things up to date. And I also recommend that because I know better than anyone, if you're looking at a transaction for Bunnings or for Coles 3 or 4 weeks after it happened, you're probably not going to remember what it was for. So it's a really good idea just to keep on top of your bookkeeping, just to make sure everything's in line. So, and also with your bookkeeping, a lot of people wonder, what do I do with my receipts? So we actually need to keep receipts and invoices for 5 years after a tax return is lodged. So in that time, we know as well as anybody that receipts fade and invoices can be misplaced. So a great way to avoid this is to actually take photos of receipts or to keep electronic copies of your receipts. So some people might choose to use Google Drive or Dropbox to store their receipts, but today I'm going to show you a great software called HubDoc. And this is actually a free software with all Xero business plan subscriptions. So just sign into HubDoc. All right, so we have a HubDoc account here. It might be a little bit confusing at first, but that's fine if you haven't used it just yet. So the reason that HubDoc is free with Xero business plan accounts is because HubDoc will actually connect with and send your receipts and invoices to Xero. So for those of you who outsource your bookkeeping, all you need to do to get your data into HubDoc is to upload document, and then you can upload something from your computer, or you can alternatively use the HubDoc app. So it's an app you can download on your phone. All you need to do is take photos and upload. I have the app on my phone and it's so easy to use. A great thing about the app is you can actually take a photo on HubDoc and it won't download to your phone, so you won't have 500 receipts taking up storage on your phone, because you can take a photo and leave it just in HubDoc, which is a great way to save space on your phone and keep the photos of things that you actually love and enjoy. You could scan documents in and pop them in. And another great thing is you can scan 5 or 6 invoices that are all 1 page each. And if you click this multi-page split, it actually uploads them to HubDoc all separately, which means less time on the scanner as well. Alternatively, if you have an email that has a PDF in it, so if someone has sent you an invoice and they've sent it in a PDF, you could forward that email to your HubDoc unique email. So obviously you're just going to copy this one and save it into your email contacts, because we don't want to be typing this out every time. So yeah, if you send through an email with a PDF, HubDoc will pick up all of the information. So if you're getting someone else to do your bookkeeping, that's all you need to do. You just need to make sure that all of your invoices and receipts are getting sent to Dropbox, and that's it. But for those of you who are doing your own bookkeeping, it's going to save you a lot of time when it comes to reconciling. So when we upload a new receipt to HubDoc, so if we look at this Harvey Norman, it actually reads the information on the receipt. It can pick up the date, it picks up the amount and the GST and who it was from. So if we look at this, we can see when HubDoc looked at this receipt, it knows it's from Harvey Norman, it knows it was on the 23rd of March, and it can pick up how much it was for. All we need to do is select whether the invoice was paid, because as you know, some invoices you might receive them and they're not paid yet. So this one was paid. And then if we click on this, instead of putting the information in the who and the what and the why like we did before, you just need to put that exact information into the receipt. So the contact, Harvey Norman, which bank account it was paid out of, and what account it was. So it's an office expense, but similarly, if you had our Bunnings receipt before, you could update that as a materials, and then we can pop in a description if we like. And if you click publish, it's going to send that receipt to Xero. So when you send the receipt to Xero, it's going to pop up in green, similar to when we were reconciling the invoices we created, which means you don't actually need to add any additional data into Xero, you just click OK. So my challenge for you after this webinar is to actually download the HubDoc app for your phone, make a free account, and then connect it to your Xero account, because that is actually the hardest part of using HubDoc, is setting it up and putting in your password and email, because everything else is literally just taking photos or sending emails and uploading. So now we are coming towards the end of this webinar. I would like to thank everyone who has participated. Thank you for listening. I hope you've been able to take away something useful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact. We are able to assist you with absolutely anything, any questions you might have. We can assist if you haven't got a Xero account yet, we can help you set that one up. And as I said before, we also offer those individual one-on-one lessons where we can tailor the lesson to your specific business and cater to your individual needs. So I hope you have all taken something away from this. If you do have any questions, just let me know. Thank you so much for listening in.